People who are homeless often get viewed with suspicion, mistrust, and fear. They are expected to live a criminal lifestyle and be a danger to everyone around them. But it is more common for homeless people to have been traumatized by someone else than to hurt the people they come into contact with.
A large number of the residents that end up receiving services from our organization are more victims of crimes than the perpetrators of crime. And it's, I think that's a consistent theme across the country.
A history of emotional trauma is a consistent factor that leads to homelessness. And people who struggle with mental illnesses can be particularly vulnerable to the kinds of victimization that result in long-term struggles.
They're also easily victimized. We work with individuals, many of them had to have limited insight and judgment, and that makes them easy targets. And so in the community, you're not with these people, all of them, every day, every minute. And so they're subject to all types of issues that can happen in neighborhoods, on the streets, on buses, wherever, where they're easily victimized.
Another type of trauma that makes it difficult to maintain stable housing is the violence of war, which can cause post-traumatic stress disorder for veterans.
PTSD is very common with veterans. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a condition when someone experiences something that is traumatic to themselves. There aren't set things that would cause anybody to get PTSD, but certain things, the way that we interpret them, can cause you to have PTSD. And oftentimes, because of military service and military experiences, individuals come back and feel that they can't necessarily share what they've gone through. They're ashamed of maybe some of it, embarrassed that they're struggling with it, and tend to not seek the help that they need. It typically consists of flashbacks, anxiety in situations that might remind them of the situations that's causing the PTSD. And then it also leads them at times to self-medicate and do what makes them feel better in those situations. So they'll tend to overuse drugs or overuse alcohol or react aggressively, react very spontaneously. And over a period of time, some individuals end up burning bridges, not being able to maintain employment, not wanting, kind of losing hope, becoming depressed, and it tends to lead to homelessness. There's nowhere else to turn, nowhere else to go.
Child abuse and sexual abuse are also triggers for post-traumatic stress disorder and self-destructive behaviors like addiction, both of which create challenges for running a household.
I would easily say of the women who come through the door, 90% plus will have some significant sexual abuse or physical abuse, childhood rape, adult rape, multiple, part and parcel. And that's not that far off from the regular community, actually, but it's significant and it has to be dealt with.
So I grew up with 6 brothers and no sisters, and it was just me, my mom, and this man. And it was kind of rough childhood because my brothers are not nice. It wasn't like a cuddly, happy little home. Very young, when I was like 4, this man was creeping into my bedroom from 4 to 12, and he was molesting me. And so that caused a lot of confusion, distortion of my thinking, what love is, what approval is, what someone caring for you means. And I thought he was my father at the time. So when I was about 12, he moved out, and that's when I found out he wasn't my father. At that point in time, I'm not sure that made it any better or worse or any different. It just was what it was, I guess.
Along with the scars of violent crime, wartime experiences, and child abuse, the trauma caused by domestic violence can make it hard for people to sustain a home. People who have a background of trauma often need special services in addition to shelter, so they can work through their past experiences in order to move on with their lives.
Every now and again, we do get women who slip through the cracks that don't necessarily indicate that they are coming from a history of DV. And when that happens and we're aware of it, we really try to dissect the major outlining issue, which is if you don't address that DV, then you're not going to be able to be successful and maintain this housing option. So what does that look like to be empowered on your own? What does it look like to address that emotional trauma?
I'm a victim of domestic violence. It's embarrassing to talk about. After I left him for beating me, my two brothers started beating up on me. So I gave my apartment up. I didn't get evicted or anything. I just gave my apartment up because I couldn't take it no more. In the 2 years that we were homeless, it was hell. Nothing about it was comfortable. Nothing about it was safe. The only thing that was safe for us was the shelter. Restraining orders don't help. They don't work. They still come after me. It's like people just started beating me, and it never stopped, and nightmares started, and then the seizures started. And then when he was still smacking on me, and then my two brothers started smacking on me. I don't know, anxiety and panic attacks and nightmares. I still have them to this day. I'm not strong when it comes to that. I'm really, really weak. The anxiety it's given me, it was just too much. The stress, it made my depression worse because I have an anti-severe depression disorder as well. I always feel like someone's going to hurt me. And when I stress myself out about it, it's usually when I end up having seizures. That does a lot to me, to be honest with you. It ruined my life. Because I'm scared to go outside to the grocery store. I'm scared to go to the library. I'm scared to even let certain people in my home. And I don't know how to get better from that. It just hurts real bad. And then, he wasn't around to smack on me anymore. And for my brothers to pick up and do it, knowing they watched my mom get beat up like that, it kills me every day.